Hi everyone, this is Desmond O'Neill here of O'Neill Photography, and today we are going to be editing a photo that I took in my backyard. The equipment that I use for this photo today is my Sony A3000 mirrorless camera, and the lens attached to it is the Pentax 135mm f2.8 prime lens. That's what I used, and of course I was just in my backyard and I took this fantastic photo. To edit this photo, we are going to be using the Gimp, which is the GNU image manipulation program. I do all of my edits in Gimp. The operating software that I use is Linux, and Gimp is also available on Mac, and it's also available on Windows as well. So I have my Linux machine here. I am going to be using Gimp. So immediately I put all of my photos into a single folder and I import it with the Gimp program. So using Gimp, I was able to bring in the photo, and this fantastic photo here of a honeybee extracting nectar from a flower is what I am going to be editing today. All right, before we go into any editing, I would advise any and all photographers to kindly duplicate the image. Right, we duplicate this image. This is called non-destructive editing, so that what happens is, in case we make a mistake with our editing, we can always revert to the original photo here. All right, so we are going to be editing on this layer here. I'm going to double click and I'm going to click backspace, and I'm going to put here edited layer so that we know how or the layer that we are working on. All right, now plenty people will tell you, according to what you're doing, each time you impose an edit, you name the layer so that you can always go back one. But today we have a simple editing that we are going to do, so it is not necessarily needed. Right, so now that we have duplicated the image, the first thing that we are going to do is to go into colors. We are going to go into auto. Yes, I know that's a bad word for some people. We're going to go into auto, and we're going to go into white balance. So what this is going to do, we are going to make sure that the image has the proper white balance, and we're going to let the computer decide for us what is the best white balance for the image. So we click that one click, and here we are, and immediately we see that our photo has been completely transformed. Let's look at the before, let's look at the after with the white balance imposed, and it looks great. Wonderful. So I am going to zoom in a bit by using the plus on the keyboard. I am going to zoom in a little bit so that we are going to focus on our honeybee right here. Great. So now that we are focused in a little bit, the second thing I am going to do, I don't think I have any camera shake in this image, but just to be sure, I'm going to go to filters, I'm going to go to enhance, and I'm going to sharpen. What this section here does, this editing part here, if there's any camera shake, by clicking on sharpen, it's going to sharpen it up a little bit. All right, but we don't want to go overboard in the sharpening on sharp mask here. So what we are going to do is to slide the slider up a little bit. We're going to allow it to go close to the radius. Now what the radius does is that it tells us, the radius tells us how much of the sharpening that we are going to do, and then the amount is how, or let me say that over. The radius tells us how much of the photo we want to apply this mask to, and the amount is how much we applying to whatever we apply. So we have this about a quarter. All right, so we in terms of the radius, so we're just going to apply a little bit to a quarter of the entire photo, and we can see our preview here. This is the before, and here is the after. And as you can see, if you examine the wings section here very closely, you're going to see once again before, Here's the after. All right, and that looks great to us there. Click OK. Great. So the next thing that we are going to do is that we are going to add some saturation, or we're going to add some more color to this image. Now I know that the white balance did a great job, but we are going to be putting this on Facebook, we're going to be putting it on Instagram, and we want it to look as fantastic as possible. So we're going to make the colors pop a little bit by going into saturation. So we go to colors, saturation, all right, and we are going to be applying a little bit of saturation to the image. So here we go. There we go. Right, not overly too much, but that looks fantastic there. So let's look at the before, and now let's look at the after. Great. Click OK once you are satisfied with the image. And now let's compare what we have right now to what we first started with. This is the after, this is the before, and here's the after. Fantastic stuff. All right, so let's zoom out a little bit. Right, all right, and we look great here. We are looking good, we are looking great. All right, we are just going to apply a small crop, however, to let's take out some of this busy section here. We're going to crop that in a little bit, and all we're going to do is head over to the crop tool. We're going to click crop, and we're not going to go too much, not too much, just going to take out a little bit there, and we're going to go all the way down here, and we're going to release the mouse button, and all we're going to be doing is just taking out a little bit of that busy section to the top there, a little bit, and we can pull this in a little bit from the sides, right, and the bottom can stay as it is. And so this is the area that we're going to crop into, not too much, and once we are satisfied that that is the area that we want cropped in, we press enter, and so this is what we are working with. So this is the before once again, and here is the after. All right, and let's zoom in a little bit. Great. And the final thing we're going to apply to this already fantastic image is a bit of a contrast. What the contrast is going to do, it is going to darken the background a little bit, and the foreground with our bumblebee area here, it is going to pop out a little bit, seen as the background is darkened. All right, so the bokeh section, which is the blurry background, we're going to darken that a little bit, and we do that by clicking colors again. We're going to go into brightness contrast. All right, and in the contrast section, we're going to move the contrast slider up, and as you can see, the background is getting a little darker. All right, we're not going to do too much. Remember, a little bit at a time is what we are looking at. So let's look at the preview. Let's look at before, let's look at the after, and it looks fantastic. Click OK once you are satisfied. This is what we are looking at. Now the overall image now is just a little bit darker, so what we're going to do is to just apply a slight bit of exposure. All right, so we're going to use this slider here by apply a little bit of exposure, right, just a little bit to brighten up the image a little bit. Great, and we look great there. So let's look at before, let's look at after. Great, and click OK once you are satisfied with the image. Let's zoom out a little bit. All right, and so this is our finished image. Let's look at how it was looking before, almost as if it was whitewashed there. And let's look at after, completely transformed, and this image is now ready to be uploaded to your favorite social media platform. So in order to export to that area, we were working on a raw image file. All right, a raw image file, and I would encourage all photographers to use the raw format to do all of your editing. Once we are finished and satisfied with our photo, we will go to file, and we will go to export and let's name this final honeybee photo, right? Give it a nice name, final honeybee photo. And we are going to go to this section here that talks about the file extension. We're going to hit the plus sign, and of course you're going to see all of the various formats in which you can export as. We're going to go to JPEG, which is the industry standard for photos to upload to the internet, and you choose where you want it to upload. In this case, I already have my picture format here, which is my, not picture format, but my folder, which is new backyard photos. I have already selected that. We have selected JPEG, and then we click export. Great. And so the computer is just asking us to finalize the action that we just did. The quality is at 100. We want to save the EXIF data, which is necessary for formats such as Flickr, etc. And then we click export here, and that's it, right? That's it. This is our final photo. And once again, let's look at the before and let's look at the after. All right, and this can be applied to any photo that you have taken, whether it's natural or wildlife, as I have done here, backyard, or whether you have done it with portrait here, or even maybe astrophotography. You can apply this editing here a little bit. All right, so that's all for now. I am Desmond O'Neill, and we are asking if you enjoyed the editing tutorial today. You can feel free to support us on Patreon. Click like and subscribe on YouTube. You can find us on TikTok as well, where we have a very shortened form of what we do as a photographer as well. So that's it. Have a great day, everyone.